Alright, so now that we have articulation done and out of the way, let's go on to accessories. Well, I mean, we could actually go to size. Well, realistically, I don't want to talk about size since they're all trying to do different things. So we're going to actually kind of at like an equilibrium because they're all trying to do separate things. These guys are in an action figure scale, these guys are in their own unique scale. So we're going to just kind of leave out size and we're just going to give them all a tie point because we can't really judge size. But we can judge accessories, which what's good to know is that all six of them have some sort of accessory. So no like lone guys out here. But we do have some accessories to talk about. So let's start with the NECA. What does the NECA come with? Well, if you're unfamiliar, it comes with a beam effect that kind of looks like a long blue Q-tip and an impact base. How you put on the beam is never been easier. You find the little peg hole. It has like a little, there's two indents. One shallow, one deep. And you put the deep end on top and kind of click in. It's not like a little click, but there you go. It's aiming straight down. And this little impact base actually goes up towards the beam and it kind of rests in place. But nothing really clicks. So it's good to like show as far as like, there you go. So this is kind of what it looks like in presentation. You can rest this on like, say Ghidorah, like if you own the Monster Arts or the HIYA Ghidorah, even the Playmates Ghidorah, I don't know if that would work. Or you can just leave it as this, and you can just have him shooting the beam. Or you could actually put this back in, putting it on the ground, or putting it towards maybe a building. So it looks great. I think the beam is actually molded pretty well. And I think that this is actually a neat little addition. However, for every positive this thing has, it has a few negatives. For one, nothing really sticks. This beam is not that good of a connection. In fact, there you go. That didn't really take much finesse. And also, this thing just feels cheap. It feels brittle, and I could snap this in half with relative ease if I wanted to. And this, as well, that it just feels cheap. It's more on the cheap side. I will say it looks great, but the quality of it just doesn't feel 100%. That, and because of this guy's limited head articulation, you can't really do like the call to arms shooting up in the air pose. You know what I'm talking about. So, A, for the look of it, but also it just doesn't feel the best. Also, the fact that it doesn't peg in at all, like I don't want to drop this because it's discontinued, but it doesn't have like anything to stick it on. So it's all a big balancing act, and that's a bit on the iffy side, especially without a stand. So accessories, NECA has some, and they're usable, but you have to use them right. And the quality of them, the paint is good, but the quality of the plastic just isn't the best. So that also limits display options as well, as far as like what you can and can't do. So next we're going to talk about the Monster Arts. Has alternate hands. This is the only one that doesn't have a beam effect at retail, which honestly is kind of crummy because they later would go back into doing this game, the same figure, and actually give it a brand new beam effect, which is literally just the 2014, by the way, just recast it in a new blue. But for this one, I want to make sure I'm actually unpegging the right. Ooh, man, that was some force. I wasn't even like trying to be that forceful with it, but it comes with alternate hands, which actually I don't want to do that because it's actually kind of splitting the plastic. There you go. Okay, can I do this? You might have to get a blow dryer. Done it before. I don't see why I can't do it again. Whatever, you get the idea. It's supposed to peg into the ball joint, and I only have one at hand because someone actually, basically, a funny story is, I got this guy at a retail store. I forget which one. It was my dad, And he found this guy. Basically, right there, I also have a nice little tiny spot of the claws. And it turns out someone actually dug into the box, like cut it open, and took out the extra set of hand. Like, were they that desperate? They probably were. If they were willing to go to a retail store and actually get it and such. So we got it at a discount, but it was still decently expensive. So, but it's supposed to come with 2 of these things. It's fine if it doesn't come with the other hand. I mean, I'm not really missing out on much if I don't have the extra hand. But that's it. No beam effect. The extra hands, they're literally just the default Monster Arts 2019 sculpt hands, so date that as you will. HIYA Toys. What does he come with? Well, he comes with technically 3 accessories that make up one thing. He comes with an alternate neck part. He comes with an alternate head part. And he comes with the beam itself, which is the longest beam of the bunch. And as far as like design goes, probably my favorite. Now, I'm not going to do it on camera, at least not in this video, but basically how you're supposed to do it is you're supposed to take off this guy's head, take these 3 parts off, make sure you don't lose them, and then you're going to see the little stick, like the little ball peg, and stick this on, fight, and yes, I mean fight, to get this thing onto here, and then get the little ball socket to fit in with the ball joint, and then you're supposed to peg this straight up, and then it's supposed to have him shooting the beam up into the air. Or alternatively, you can ditch this part, keep these ones, and have it on like with the head sculpt right here, and just have him standardly shooting the beam straight forward. It's good, but I honestly, there's just something about this that I feel like could be executed a little better, because not only does the beam like have like an already awkward angle, which you can't really fix, but it just doesn't have like much display. Like over time, it's gonna start sagging, which it's starting to do that for me. It's at a slight curve, even despite this clear rod in there holding it together. It's still like mildly curved, so it's not something over time. Probably good for photography though. Alright, next up is Playmates. So, Playmates, as you know, comes with the smaller beam. That's actually taking the mold from the SHMA 2014 onward. So, we have the ability to just plug it in, plug it straight in. There you go. Simplistic, stays in the mouth pretty well. But we also get a bit of battle damage, which I do like. And also adds a bit more display options, or just, I guess, time for the kids just to bash their toys around. So, there you go. That's the Playmates one. We're going to put the beam back. Funko. Small. Almost looks like a waterfall almost. And you line it into the mouth. Shove it in there. And boom, nice display option with your Funko Pop. And finally, the Youtooz, which we have a bit of a situation here. Much like my SHMA, he didn't come with his accessory because I got him used, and unfortunately, I had to make my own beam. So this is the little temporary beam I made until I planned to find one, but I kind of gave up. So I guess it's his perma beam now. But yeah, I'm not going to be judging my beam, so he's going to get excused from this point, even though he probably won't win anyway. So that kind of leaves 5. But despite that little mishap, let's judge accordingly. The NECA has some good accessories. I like the innovation of like the little impact base. It's literally the one of a kind here. That being said, it feels brittle. It's not the best connection because it's just resting, and even like the mouth, it's just not good enough for it, and over time it's just going to get looser and looser as well, so it just doesn't feel, it doesn't have the best connection, and again, I like the sculpt and paint on the beam itself and the little impact base, and good idea, but not so much of the execution. Monster Arts, literally no excuse why it shouldn't have came with a beam. The fact that the mouth is glowing, but there's no beam, it comes with alternate hands, which don't really add a whole lot of display variety, because why would you replace this with this? Why would you replace this with this, I meant? Because, like, that's a more relaxed hand. This is more like what you want. More action-orientated. But still, accessories, not really the way Mott starts. HIYA has the best beam, I would say, as far as sheer look, but kind of has a weird connection. I mean, definitely has the most logical one. NECA had the most reasonable one, just plug it in, but the little flame effects at the end, the little blast effect, kind of ruined anything. So, HIYA has its problem of like the angle. Playmates doesn't really have a whole lot of problems. It kind of droops down over time, but that can easily be fixed with a blow dryer. That's kind of a thing. NECA probably won't droop down over time. And the battle damage is also pretty cool. And Funko and Youtooz kind of at an equilibrium with each other because they do the exact same thing. But if I had to pick one for accessories, it'd honestly have to go to the HIYA. Reason being is because the HIYA just does it probably the best of the bunch. And again, the execution is just a bit better than that of the NECA, where the connection on the mouth just feels a lot more sturdier here than it does there. And I think really that's what it boils down to. Playmates kind of does it good, but come on. Even the quality of the beam is a bit weird.